The material used in this video are considered fair use and are used for educational purposes. False copyright claims face potential criminal prosecution. TransTrender versus transgender. A common social justice warrior type are the TransTrenders. Here is a common list of questions and answers for this topic. Question: what is a TransTrender? A TransTrender, in the most simplest form, is a person, usually a girl, who pretends to be transgender without any intention to actually go through the transitioning process to become a guy. In essence, they are all talk about their identities, but they do this purely for imitation and is a performance for attention and sympathy. Question: why would someone be a TransTrender? The simplest answer is, for attention. With the rise of social media and the transgender movement gaining more publicity in the wake of same-sex marriage equality, and with celebrities like Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, making huge public notice of their transitioning, they get attention. They get awards, and they get media acknowledgement. This has become the new fad for attention-starved and deprived teenagers and millennials who have seen this as the best way to score oppression points. They see celebrities gaining fame and recognition, so they want it too. They want it, but don't actually want to go through transitioning. Question: how can you tell the difference between a TransTrender and a genuine transgender individual? A genuine transgender person is consistent in their identity. They only identify as either one gender or the other. They are not a mix, or neither. They are male or female, and nothing else. They may be biologically male, but they may identify as female, and they live the life of a female in every sense, from clothing, behavior, and self-identity. They are what they preach. A TransTrender is a person who constantly changed their identity, usually based on the conversation and what kind of crowd they're talking to. A good way to spot a liar is to listen to how often their stories change, and a TransTrender is no different. They lie, they swap identities and constantly claim to be something they are not. They often will use terms like non-binary or gender fluid or asexual, which are biologically impossible in the human species. A TransTrender will never ever go through the transitioning process that is essentially biologically irreversible. They simply want the attention, without any risk, and so they parade around, calling themselves TransTrender, and are obsessed with talking about their own newly discovered self-invented gender of the hour. That is also another huge difference between a TransTrender and a transgender individual. TransTrenders are absolutely obsessed with talking about their newly discovered gender identities. They make claims that people talk to them a lot about their genders, when it's more likely that a TransTrender, in effort to gain attention, will always inject their identity into a conversation with anyone, so they can pull the conversation to be all about them, again because they crave attention. Question: alright, fine, so what if someone is a TransTrender? What harm does it do? The harm is largely to the legitimate transgender community. People like Blair White, Laverne Cox, and Caitlyn Jenner, who has struggled for their entire lives and are now the people they have always felt they should have been. These people had to overcome a great deal of adversity, internally and externally, to become who they are. TransTrenders spit on this. They lie, and call themselves something they are not, purely for the sake of attention and gaining sympathy for what they never were. Their victim mentality also twists what true transgender people are. TransTrenders invent terms like non-binary or gender fluid, and because society and the media is too politically correct and terrified of offending, they eagerly just go along with it, giving these attention-starved children and crybabies all the media attention they want, making the situation worse for real transgender issues. They distract and confuse, and they do it for the malicious motive of personal gain. Transgender people just want to be left alone, but it's the TransTrenders who are making things worse for them by confusing the issue. Thank you for watching, and if you can, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, as it really helps me produce future content.